Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is Ace and I got more Tribes Ascent coverage here for you. This time I'll be talking about the update 5 called Accelerate, and I'll be showing you guys some gameplay and the actual stats of the new weapons, as well as the new perk and the new maps. Well, old maps but new game modes on these maps and all kinds of good stuff. If you're just looking for buffs and nerfs, there should be a direct link to the patch notes. If you're looking for only gameplay for any class at all, because this video does hold gameplay for every single class, there should be a time code for that as well, directly skipping you to the gameplay section of this video. And that makes your life probably a lot easier if you're just looking for that. But we'll start off with the store, because the new bundle for this patch is called Chess Bundle. As you can see, 27 new weapons. All classes that have been added are found there as well. It takes about 2.6k gold to buy this entire bundle, so quite pricey considering all the other stuff, but you do get a lot for it back. It's just that when it comes to weapons, I kinda dislike the entire patch because they are just reskins. I am not joking. Every single weapon, every single one of those 27 weapons is a side grade, which is fine, but they are all lazy reskins. And in my eyes, if your entire profit base comes from weapons, at least put in some modeling time. Just a little bit. I hate reskins. I have been dealing with reskins for quite some years now, and in every single game, and I just can't stand it. It gets to my it just gets to me. It's just bad. I do like the fact that they have added a new perk, a new second slot perk, I believe it's called, and it is called Lightweight. Your weight, basically your mass, is reduced with 30%, which allows you to jump higher and bigger. But also your health regeneration gets a debuff with that, which takes about 30% more or longer to get your regeneration going, I believe. See, it triples your delay, so that's about 300% actually on the delay time. So it's good for chasers and possibly for pathfinders, but that's about it. As well as the entire weapon system to upgrade your weapons. As you can see right here, there's a new experience bar for your weapon, and the more you use your weapon, the more you effectively use it, you get more experience unlocking all your buffs. If you are too lazy to do that, or you are rich, you can basically buy the entire weapon upgrade slot with mastery. As you can see right here, 15k experience, and you get all the buffs in one go. So definitely a good upgrade. Definitely really like that. So that's really good. But we'll start off with the the Pathfinder, of course. As you can see, dueling spin fuser, plain reskin. You do a little bit more damage on direct hits, but the radius is also smaller, as you can see. So this is purely a weapon that you want to use for direct and direct hits only if you want to get the benefit out of it. Of course, the shotgun is pretty straightforward, just a reskin. Does do a little bit more damage, but has a smaller clip size. So a lot of trade-offs. And that's basically the definition of a side grade, really, isn't it? And of course, Impact Nitron, now Compact Nitron, which is pretty much the same, as you can see, but you do have more ammo. And it also, as you can see right there in the description itself, even though you get one more, you do get significantly less knockback. So it's a trade-off right there. Moving on, of course, to the Sentinel. And the Sentinel, a little bit disappointing because I don't find it to be a good side grade at all. And also the weapon display is slightly bugged because it sometimes shows the weapon model that is not the actual weapon. But as you can see, your fire rate is reduced and your clip size is increased, but also you have a slower charge time, which doesn't really make sense. So if you want to have the full benefit out of a Sentinel, I would recommend BXT1 to go with that, especially when you are just beginning. Of course, the Nova Blaster, this one is really nice because you do a little bit less damage, but you do have a bigger clip size because this weapon is very spammy, and also increased fire rate. Definitely worth checking out because I do some decent damage with that weapon in the gameplay section. And of course the belt item, which is straight up just a claymore, a little less damage, a bigger radius with the explosion. But one of the important changes of this specific belt item is that the trigger angle has been decreased. So it takes a little bit more difficulty for it to trigger, but when it does, you have a bigger ground that it covers but less damage. So an interesting change on that. Infiltrator, I don't like this class at all because I don't like invisibility as well as cloak stuff. And also the weapons that you have been getting together, which is basically the Arctic Rhino, which is just the Rhino SMG, but as you can see, more damage, which is decent. But I don't understand the combination with the Arctic SN7, because they basically are both bullet projectiles, so they don't really complement each other. You can basically both use at the same time. So in my opinion, I would basically use the Arctic SN7, which is just a silence pistol with more damage, less clip size, and then for example on your primary use the Jackal. And of course the belt item is just a sticky, just like the sticky grenade, but less damage, bigger radius. Straightforward, nothing different about it. Of course, moving on to the soldier, my favorite class right now, especially with the new assault rifle, which is the gas rifle. As you can see, it does more damage, little bit less of a clip size, but it doesn't matter because the damage output is very similar to the Raiders SMG, or exactly the same, really, which basically allows me to wreck even more face, because I really like SMGs and assault rifles, and this weapon just gives me that much more power behind the fact that I could already wreck people with it. Of course, the thumper that you have been getting is basically gives you a thumper that is more for direct hits. As you can see right there, the radius changes a little bit, but you do get more damage. So the damage output is more on par with the Technician one, but it does take you a little bit more accuracy to actually get a proper hit off. So if you are accurate enough and skilled enough, definitely want to get that one going. And of course the short fuse frag, which is basically the frag grenade, but bigger radius, less damage. And of course it also explodes a little bit faster than the standard one. Alright, moving on to Raider. And if you start off with the Raider's new weapon, the entire set of new weapons, you are going to find yourself in a position where you run out of ammo relatively quick. Dust Devil, pretty much the Arcs Buster. You don't get the same effect out of it because it doesn't do as much damage, but the radius is increased. So if you are less accurate, you want to be using the Dust Devil. If you are a little bit more accurate, you want to be using the standard one. But then again, the Arcs Buster is usually used to take out stationary objects, so you have to make sure that you want to do that trade-off. Of course, the secondary weapon, the Desert NG4, does less damage but has a bigger fire rate. I don't really like it because it does force you to go out of ammo even faster, and sometimes it is sometimes pretty hard to hit people with it, so you will spend even more ammo on missing than you would normally do. So I don't like it, but I can understand why other people would like it. But my weapon of choice is still the NG4, and most likely will stay that way. Belt item, pretty straightforward EMP, little less damage but does have a bigger range, so it's actually better if you want to have a bigger chance of draining people with your EMP, because it does drain the same amount, which is quite awesome. Moving on to the Technician, and what I did for the Technician is brilliant. I really enjoy it. Too bad for just the reskin, but I can complain about the reskins. I think it's a cop-out. But the Rockwind does more damage, and the damage on this weapon is so satisfying. It does about 120 damage on a decent hit. And the fire rate is perhaps not as fast, but still amazingly fast for a weapon this powerful. So you can really destroy people with it. So that is amazing, as well as the long-range repair tool. Because normally, if you find yourself, repairing a base turret, you have Juggernauts still nuking you with mortars. But this increase in range allows you to repair that turret without being in range of the actual explosions. While with the improved repair tool, you would still have that issue. You can also basically buff, of course, the repair speed, but you will always repair a little bit less fast as the normal repair tool. So it's, depending on what mode you're playing on, definitely worth using. And of course the belt item, which is just a simple grenade, but as you can see, it explodes a little bit quicker, and of course has a bigger radius but less damage. Oh, misclicked there on the add gold. Suddenly all the music is gone, which is also slightly annoying. But moving on to the Juggernaut, and I don't like the specific loadout for the Juggernaut, but as you can see, basically straightforward change in damage and in radius. So you want to be a little bit more accurate with this, or try to be as accurate as possible. as you can, because the damage is insane if you do get a nice hit off with it. The secondary weapon is of course the Spin Fuser. Does more damage but less radius, so this specific patch for the Juggernaut is all about being more accurate. And of course the heavy AP grenade, as you can see, does have bigger radius but less damage, so that's where you do get your margin of error a little bit more increased. So we have the Juggernaut, the Doombringer, and what they did for the Doombringer is absolutely magnificent. It's brilliant. Not only do you have a chain gun that becomes a chain cannon, not a heavy bolt launcher, basically a chain cannon, doing more damage, little bit less fire rate, but still you shoot amazingly fast, so you really don't get the why it would be that much of a penalty, but you do a lot more damage, so really satisfying. But what they did with the Titan launcher is brilliant. You can't lock on, but you basically get a thumper with a straight line in its projectile, doing insane amount of damage. It's quite nice. It's pretty easy to hit people with it. Nice AoE as well. And as you can see, it is purely for mid-air suppression, but I do get some very nice hits in the gameplay section with this weapon. It doesn't require to do any kind of lock-on anymore. You can just use it constantly without any lock-on. So brilliant weapon, and it does complement the chain gun quite nicely. That said, moving on to the belt item, which is basically a defective frag, which is straightforward, just a normal frag, but bigger radius, less damage. And of course the last one, which is the Brute. And I'm surprised that it actually has come to that, because it just it decreases your damage while increasing your radius, which is pretty straightforward. And of course the secondary weapon, the Hammer, just a basically shotgun, less of a clip size, but more damage, as you can already tell. So that is actually quite nice. But the belt item is something that might be abused quite heavily, because I always hated the fractal grenades, and even though it does a little bit less damage, and just a little bit, the time that it is up is increased, so your extended fractal stays up for quite, a slightly longer time, which means you can block choke points for a little bit longer, which can really cause some issues. Alright, starting off with the gameplay, guys. As you can see, I am playing on one of the new maps. Well, it's not actually a new map, it's one of the old maps that has been redesigned or refitted for one of the new game modes, which is of course Capture and Hold. Both of the maps are Capture and Hold maps, and this is Sulfur. And it's known for its team deathmatch, so you can already expect it. A lot of people, especially now with all the new weapons, are just out to there and trying to kill each other. Which is not too bad, because that's exactly what I'm trying to do as well, to show you guys how the weapons work. And I'm playing as a soldier, rocking of course all three of the new weapons. The new primary, the new secondary, as well as the new belt item. And I got taken out here by one of the Pathfinders. But as you can see here, trying to do some decent hits with the Thumper. As you can see, nice increased damage. And also the assault rifle has now the same or similar damage to the basic SMG of the Raider. And that's one of my favorite SMG weapons in the game, if not the favorite. But now with this assault rifle, I probably have to start choosing between classes again. And I definitely think that Soldier is going to be my main class, especially with this weapon, because I'll just love it. I can wreck so much face with this. As you can see, it doesn't seem to be too easy. People melt, and especially as a roamer, you're not stuck to a specific defensive position or offensive position, because I can't really do both without getting bored. That's just how it is for me. And as you can see right here, playing as the Raider with all the new weapons, including the new belt weapon. And the new belt item, of course. And this is the Taurus, refitted for the new game mode Capture and Hold, like I already stated. And also what I stated before when I was talking about these weapons, you feel like you go out of ammo really quick, especially when you don't have the upgrades here. Getting a very nice kill here with the Buster, which was not really expected, because Busters are usually used to take out defenses and not really people, even though it's extremely satisfying to take out people with sticky kills. Really nice to see that. And as you can see right here as well, the range doesn't really seem to be increased on the EMP, but it definitely is increased, so it's a lot easier to drain people while the damage is decreased, so you have to take it into consideration. While the EMP for me also feels like a weird grenade, because you don't throw it as far as you possibly throw other grenades. So I have to get used to that as well. And as you can see, the damage is a little bit reduced on the on the SMG there as well. As you can see here, I'm playing as a Pathfinder now, on just basically one of the standard capture and hold maps. Seeing here a very interesting death here by the, of course, the base turret. The base turrets are really impressive because they, for IA basically, artificial intelligence, they shoot relatively decent, I have to say. But you have to stay on the move if you don't want to get hit by them. Getting a very nice blue special here, blue plate special, which is always very satisfying to do, especially as a Pathfinder with this new weapon, because it does increase the damage on direct hits, even though the radius is reduced. So if you want to get the full benefit out of this weapon, you want to use the direct hits. And also trying to use some shotgun skills here, left and right. Right now just more focused on, of course, the spin fusion, which is a little more interesting. And the shotgun is still basically just a shotgun. Now playing as a Sentinel on the same map, and really weird experience I had with the Sentinel, and also unnecessarily reload there. But I'm a reload junkie. I really like to reload to keep my stuff on maximum. Trying to kill some, trying to do some nice shots with the sniper rifle, trying to get these kills. As you can see right here, the damage is a little bit reduced, but you can shoot a lot faster with it. So definitely worth it. And I'm trying to make as much invasive maneuvers as I can right here, because the plasma cannon, I believe, is rather devastating for a low health class like such as myself. But right now, when I was experiencing this, what is happening right now, I just took a run for it. I just lagged it because I'm being chased by a motorcycle. There's people trying to chase me right here as well with cannons, and certainly also spin fuses at some point, and I'm just trying to do as much as I can before I got taken out right there. So not sure why that happened, but everybody was after me. As you can see here, now playing as an infiltrator, which is one of the classes I do not really enjoy. But what I do really enjoy about the infiltrator is I believe the secondary, which is the slow hitting weapon. Does so much damage for one hit. It does 180 damage, as you can see right here. 180 damage on that soldier. Trying to avoid his bullets really as well, because I know that even the basic assault rifle can be devastating for any low health class. As an infiltrator, I am low health class, because I'm also not really using the invisible thing here, because not only do I have low energy, I don't like it. I don't like to be invisible, I like to fight, as well as, of course, the fact that it feels a little bit different to fight with the infiltrator. But here again we have technician, actually not technician, is something completely different than technician. And as you can already saw, I was a lot further away, or a lot farther away than I usually would be if I would use the default repair gun. As you can see, it's yellow as well and a lot longer in distance, but it does repair significantly slower, even if you have it fully upgraded. So that's something to keep in mind. And also the damage of this SMG, 120 damage at hit, is just amazing. It's just brilliant for the way that I play this game, the way that I play Tribes Ascent. And it's so satisfying to see, hits above 100 in that rapid succession, hitting your enemy, as well as, being able to deploy turrets right here. And I'm just randomly deploying turrets because I know a lot of people are just roaming around, trying to get some benefit out of there as well. And as you can see, the damage is just quite insane. Trying to do some damage with the grenade that now explodes a little bit faster. Getting a nice kill here as well. So that's also you have to take into consideration when you are using grenades, that the explosion times are different as well. The ones that come with the update, of course. Now playing Juggernaut, and I'm not really fond of this style of Juggernaut. I don't like the mortar, which is weird. I like to use the spin fuser and the assault rifle type weapon. Do get a very nice direct here as well. Another one. I do get a lot of direct hits these days, which I am totally fine with. And of course, just using my new mortar to do some damage on the Svenfest that's always happening on A in this specific map. And it does do so much damage when you do get a direct hit off. If you shoot long enough, the projectile explodes on impact, and it does so much damage. Getting a little bit crowded here, so I decided to move out. And now we're talking Doombringer, guys. This is what I was talking about with the Titan, which is the new rocket launcher, which doesn't basically lock on, but it can automatically shoot right here. As you can see, direct hit, 600 damage, and it's so nice. It's brilliant for anti-air suppression, which is also a little bit silly, unless people, if you are still fighting a lot of vehicles, you want to use the other one, the Saber launcher. But if you just want to have an explosive projectile for some nice AoE for close quarter combat, you definitely want to use the Titan launcher. Do get taken out here by fusion mortar, just something I was trying to avoid, but as a Doombringer I'm still very slow. because I'm also, I believe, using the heavyweight perk, which also increases my mass and such. But it doesn't matter, trying to block off the entrance for some tactical advantage. As you can see here, the chain cannon, not the chain gun, the chain cannon, just doing massive amounts of damage, still shooting quite fast, as I already stated as well, and it just melts people. It's incredible. And now finishing off with the Brute, of course, on the same map once again. As you can see, the projectiles have changed color as well. Radius is a little bit bigger, but the damage is still quite nice if you hit him, and I do get some decent hits on him as well. Trying to finish him off right here. There you go. And it's just about 700 damage on a direct hit-ish, and that was an extended fractal, which is also yellow, and it does last for a little bit longer. As you can see, doing some decent damage as well, trying to get a, or at least I got a kill with the fractal there, right there. Being chased down here by a bicycle, trying to use my shotgun to it, which is completely ineffective, which is just incredibly stupid on my side as well. But there you go. Anyway, this video is about to come to an end. I will be updating as well as further updates come along. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to leave a comment and like this video if you do. And I will catch you guys most likely in the near future with some more videos. Take care.